Safed is a city in the northern district of Israel. Located at an elevation of 900 meters, Safed is the highest city in the Galilee and in Israel. Due to its high elevation, Safed experiences warm summers and cold, often snowy, winters. Since the 16th century, Safed has been considered one of Judaism's four holy cities, along with Jerusalem, Hebron and Tiberias. Since that time, the city has remained a center of Kabbalah, also known as Jewish mysticism. Due to its mild climate and scenic views, Safed is a popular holiday resort frequented by Israelis and foreign visitors. History Biblical account According to the Book of Judges, the area where Safed is located was assigned to the tribe of Naphtali. Legend has it that Safed was founded by a son of Noah after the Great Flood. Classical antiquity Safed has been identified with Sepph, a fortified Jewish town in the Upper Galilee mentioned in the writings of the Roman Jewish historian Josephus. It is mentioned in the Jerusalem Talmud as one of 5 elevated spots where fires were lit to announce the new moon and festivals during the Second Temple period. Crusader Kingdom The city appears in Jewish sources in the late Middle Ages. In the 12th century, Safed was a fortified city in the Crusader Kingdom of Jerusalem known as Safed. Fulk, king of Jerusalem, built a castle there, which was kept by the Knights Templar from 1168. It was taken by the Ayyubids after 1 year's siege, following the Battle of Hattin. In 1240, Theobald I of Navarre, on his own crusade to the Holy Land, negotiated with the Muslim Ayyubids of Damascus and of Egypt and finalized a treaty with the former against the latter whereby the Kingdom of Jerusalem regained Jerusalem itself, plus Bethlehem, Nazareth, and most of the region of Galilee with many Templar castles, such as Safed. Benjamin of Tudela, who visited the town at 1170, does not mention any Jews as living there. Mamluk Sultanate In 1260, the Mamluk Sultan Baybars declared the treaty invalid due to the Christians working in concert with the Mongol Empire against the Muslims, and launched a series of attacks on castles in the area, including on Safed. In 1266 he wiped out the Christian Templar population and turned it into a Muslim town called Safed or Safed. Samuel ben Samson, who visited the town in the 13th century, mentions the existence of a Jewish community of at least 50 there. According to al-Damashqi, writing around 1300, Baybars, after leveling the old fortress, built a round tower and called it Kula. The tower is built in 3 stories. It is provided with provisions, and halls, and magazines. Under the place is a cistern for rainwater, sufficient to supply the garrison of the fortress from year's end to year's end. According to Abu al-Fida, Safed was a town of medium size. It has a very strongly built castle, which dominates the Lake of Tiberias. There are underground water courses, which bring drinking water up to the castle gate. Its suburbs cover 3 hills. Since the place was conquered by al-Malik ad-Tahir from the Franks, it has been made the central station for the troops who guard all the coast towns of the district. During the late Mamluk period from 1525 June, the population of Safed consisted of 633 Muslim families, 40 Muslim bachelors, 26 Muslim religious persons, 9 Muslim disabled, 232 Jewish families, and 60 Jumdi families. Ottoman period Under the Ottomans, Safed was the capital of the Sanjak of Safed, which encompassed much of the Galilee and extended to the Mediterranean coast. This Sanjak was part of the Eyalet of Damascus until 1660, when it was united with the Sanjak of Sidon into a separate Eyalet, of which it was briefly the capital. Finally, from the mid-19th century it was part of the Vilayet of Sidon. The Orthodox Sunni courts arbitrated over cases in Aqbara, Ain al-Zayatun and as far away as Medal Islam. In 1549, under Sultan Sulayman I, a wall was constructed and troops were stationed to protect the city. Indiana, 1553-4, the population consisted of 1,121 Muslim households, 222 Muslim bachelors, 54 Muslim religious leaders, 716 Jewish households, 56 Jewish bachelors, and 9 disabled persons. Safed rose to fame in the 16th century as a center of Kabbalah, or Jewish mysticism. After the expulsion of all the Jews from Spain in 1492, many prominent rabbis found their way to Safed, among them the Kabbalists Isaac Luria and Moshe Cordovero. Joseph Caro, the author of the Shulchan Aruch, and Shlomo Halavai Alkabetz, composer of the Sabbath hymn Lecha Dodi. The influx of Sephardi Jews reaching its peak under the rule of Sultan Suleiman I Selim II made Safed a global center for Jewish learning and a regional center for trade throughout 15th and 16th centuries. A Hebrew printing press was established in Safed in 1577 by Eliezer Ashkenazi and his son, Isaac of Prague. In 1584, there were 32 synagogues registered in the town. During the transition from Egyptian to Ottoman Turkish rule in 1517, the local Jewish community was subjected to violent assaults, murder and looting as local sheiks, sidelined by the change in authority, sought to reassert their control after being removed from power by the incoming Turks. Economic decline after 1560 and expulsion decrees depleted the Jewish community in 1583. Local Arabs assaulted those who remained, and two epidemics in 1589 and 1594 further damaged the Jewish presence. The Kurdish quarter was established in the Middle Ages and continued through to the 19th century. Over the course of the 17th century, Jewish settlements of Galilee had declined economically and demographically, with Safed being no exception. In around 1625, Khwarizmiya spoke of the town being inhabited chiefly by Hebrews, who had their synagogues and schools, and for whose sustenance contributions were made by the Jews in other parts of the world. In 1628, the city fell to the Druze and 5 years later was retaken by Ottomans. In 1660, in the turmoil following the death of Mulim Man, the Druze destroyed Safed and Tiberias, with only a few of the former Jewish residents returning to Safed by 1662. As nearby Tiberias remained desolate for several decades, Safed gained a key position among Galilean Jewish communities. In 1665, the Sabbatai Sevi movement is said to have arrived in the town. An outbreak of plague decimated the population in 1742 and the Near East earthquakes of 1759 left the city in ruins, killing 200 town residents. An influx Russian Jews in 1776 and 1781, and of Lithuanian Jews of the Perashim in 1809 and 1810, reinvigorated the community. In 1812, another plague killed 80% of the Jewish population, and, in 1819, the remaining Jewish residents were held for ransom by Abdullah Pasha, Acre-based governor of Sidon. During the period of Egyptian domination, the city experienced a severe decline, with the Jewish community hit particularly hard. In the 1834 looting of Safed, much of the Jewish quarter was destroyed by rebel Arabs, who plundered the city for many weeks. In 1837 there were around 4,000 Jews in Safed. The Galilee earthquake of 1837 was particularly catastrophic for the Jewish population, as the Jewish quarter was located on the hillside. About half their number perished, resulting in around 2,000 deaths. Of the 2,158 inhabitants killed, 1,507 were Ottoman subjects. The southern, Muslim section of the town suffered far less damage. In 1838, the Druze rebels robbed the city over the course of 3 days, killing many among the Jews. In 1840, Ottoman rule was restored. In 1847, plague struck Safed again. The Jewish population increased in the last half of the 19th century by immigration from Persia, Morocco, and Algeria. Moses Montefiore visited Safed 7 times and financed rebuilding of much of the town. The Kadura family was a major political force in Safed. At the end of Ottoman rule the family owned 50,000 dunams. This included 8 villages around Safed. British Mandate of Palestine Safed was the center of Safed sub-district. Safed remained a mixed city during the British Mandate for Palestine, and ethnic tensions between Jews and Arabs rose during the 1920s. With the eruption of the 1929 Palestine riots, Safed and Hebron became major clash points. In the Safed massacre 20 Jewish residents were killed by local Arabs. Safford was included in the part of Palestine allocated for the proposed Jewish state under the United Nations Partition Plan for Palestine. By 1948, the city was home to around 1,700 Jews, mostly religious and elderly, as well as some 12,000 Arabs. On January 5, 1948, Arabs attacked the Jewish quarter. In February 1948, during the Civil War, Muslim Arabs attacked a Jewish bus attempting to reach Safed, and the Jewish quarter of the town came under siege by the Muslims. British forces that were present did not intervene. According to Martin Gilbert, food supplies ran short. Even water and flour were in desperately short supply. Each day, the Arab attackers drew closer to the heart of the Jewish quarter, systematically blowing up Jewish houses as they pressed in on the central area. On April 16, the same day that British forces evacuated Safed, 200 local Arab militiamen, supported by over 200 Arab Liberation Army soldiers, tried to take over the city's Jewish quarter. They were repelled by the Jewish garrison, consisting of some 200 Haganah fighters, men and women, boosted by a Palmach platoon. The Palmach ground attack on the Arab section of Safed took place on May 6, as a part of Operation Yiftah. The first phase of the Palmach plan to capture Safed was to secure a corridor through the mountains by capturing the Arab village of Bir. The Arab Liberation Army had plans to take over the whole city on May 10, and in the meantime placed artillery pieces on a hill adjacent to the Jewish quarter and started its shelling. The 3rd Battalion failed to take the main objective, the citadel, but terrified the Arab population sufficiently to prompt further flight, as well as urgent appeals for outside help and an effort to obtain a truce. The Secretary-General of the Arab League Abdul Rahman Hassan Azzam stated that the goal of Plan Dalit was to drive out the inhabitants of Arab villages along the Syrian and Lebanese frontiers, particularly places on the roads by which Arab regular forces could enter the country. He noted that Acre and Safed were in particular danger. However, the appeals for help were ignored, and the British, now less than a week away from the end of the British Mandate of Palestine, also did not intervene against the second Euro, and final Euro Haganah attack, which began on the evening of May 9, with a mortar barrage on key sites in Safed. Following the barrage, Palmach infantry, in bitter fighting, took the citadel, Beit Shalva and the police fort, Safed's 3 dominant buildings. Through May 10, Haganah mortars continued to pound the Arab neighborhoods, causing fires in the marked area and in the fuel dumps, which exploded. The Palma intentionally left open the exit routes for the population to facilitate their exodus. According to Gilbert, the Arabs of Safed began to leave, including the commander of the Arab forces, Adab Shishakli. With the police fort on Mount Canaan isolated, its defenders withdrew without fighting. The fall of Safed was a blow to Arab morale throughout the region. With the invasion of Palestine by regular Arab armies believed to be imminent once the British had finally left in 11 or 12 days' time many Arabs felt that prudence dictated their departure until the Jews had been defeated and they could return to their homes. Some 12,000 fled Safed and were a heavy burden on the Arab war effort. Among them was the family of Palestinian Authority President Mahmoud Abbas. The city was fully under the control of Jewish paramilitary forces by May 11, 1948. State of Israel In 1974, 102 Israeli Jewish schoolchildren from Safed on a school trip were taken hostage by a Palestinian militant group Democratic Front for the Liberation of Palestine while sleeping in a school in Marlot. In what became known as the Marlot Massacre, 22 of these schoolchildren were among those killed by the hostage takers. Over 1990s and early 2000s, the town accepted thousands of Russian Jewish immigrants and Ethiopian Beta Israel. In July 2006, Katyusha rockets fired by Hezbollah from southern Lebanon hit Safed, killing 1 man and injuring others. Many residents fled the town. On July 22, 4 people were injured in a rocket attack. The town has retained its unique status as a Jewish studies center, incorporating numerous facilities. It is currently a predominantly Jewish town, with a mixed religious and secular communities. With small number of Russian Christians and Maronites. Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas was born in Safed and left with his family when tensions arose in 1948. In 2012, he publicly stated, "I visited Safed before once. I want to see Safed. It's my right to see it, but not to live there." Demographics: in 2008, the population of Safed was 32,000. According to CBS figures in 2001, the ethnic makeup of the city was 99.2% Jewish and non-Arab, with no significant Arab population. 43.2% of the residents were 19 years of age or younger, 13.5% between 20 and 29, 17.1% between 30 and 44, 12.5% from 45 to 59, 3.1% from 60 to 64 and 10.5% 65 years of age or older. Seismology: the city is located above the Syria-Africa fault line, and as a result, is one of the cities in Israel most at risk to earthquakes. The last major earthquake to hit Safed was the Galilee earthquake of 1837. Climate: Safed has a Mediterranean climate with hot, dry summers and cold, rainy and occasionally snowy winters. The city receives 682 millimeters of precipitation per year. Summers are rainless and hot with an average high temperature of 29 degrees Celsius and an average low temperature of 18 degrees Celsius. Winters are cold and wet, and precipitation is occasionally in the form of snow. Winters have an average high temperature of 10 degrees Celsius and an average low temperature of 5 degrees Celsius. Education: according to CBS, the city has 25 schools and 6,292 students. There are 18 elementary schools with a student population of 3,965, and 11 high schools with a student population of 2,327. 40.8% of Safed's 12th graders were eligible for a matriculation certificate in 2001. The Zafat Academic College, originally an extension of Bar Ilan University, was granted independent accreditation by Israeli Unregistered Trademark S Council of Higher Education in 2007. In October 2011, Israel's fifth medical school opened in Safed, housed in a renovated historic building in the center of town that was once a branch of Hadassah Hospital. The Live Notal Hebron program in Safed provides an open, non-denominational atmosphere for young Jewish adults that combines volunteering, hiking and study with exploring Jewish heritage. Culture: in the 1950s and 1960s, Safed was known as Israel's art capital. The artists' colony established in Safed's old city was a hub of creativity that drew leading artists from around the country, among them Yitzhak Frenkel, Yosel Bergner, Moshe Kastel and Menachem Shumi. Some of Israel's leading art galleries were located there. In honor of the opening of the Glitzenstein Art Museum in 1953, the artist Mein Katz donated 8 of his paintings to the city. During this period, Safed was home to the country's top nightclubs, hosting the debut performances of Naomi Shemer, Ari San, and other acclaimed singers. Safed is home to a large Kabbalistic community, and prompted a visit by Madonna in 2009. There is also a large community of followers of Nachman of Breslov. Safed has been hailed as the klezmer capital of the world, hosting an annual klezmer festival that attracts top musicians from around the globe. Travelers will find an extensive tourist information center in the Old Jewish Quarter on Alphabet Street. The center provides assistance to tourists who drop in to access information about the center, and for travelers who are planning a trip. Visitors can explore the places of interest, activities and historical sites when visiting Safed. Tourists may find the stories of legends of Safed to expand their understanding of the town and its history. Accommodations provide boarding opportunities for people of all ages and incomes, and the list of eateries is extensive in the city. Born in Safed, Mahmoud Abbas, Palestinian president since 2005, Moshe Yama, a politician who served as a member of Knesset between 1977 and 1981, Samir al-Rifai, politician who served 6 times as Jordanian Prime Minister, Fazil Bey, author of Zenanim, Wadi Haddad, also known as Abu Hani, the Palestinian leader of the Popular Front for the Liberation of Palestine's armed wing, Salma Jayouzi, Palestinian Jordanian poetess and translator, Mumayvar, the Haganah commander of Safed during 1948 and mayor of Safed between 1965 and 1966, Nabil Shaf. Negotiator for the Palestinian National Authority and its first foreign minister, Hayim Ben Joseph Vital. Notable residents of Safed, Shlomo Halevi Alkabetz, a rabbi, Kabbalist and poet perhaps best known for his composition of the song Leko Dodi. Moshe Alshich, a prominent rabbi, preacher, and biblical commentator in the latter part of the 16th century. Jacob Berub, an influential rabbi and Talmudist best known for his attempt to reintroduce rabbinic ordination. Moses ben Jacob Cordovero, leader of a mystical school in Safed in the 16th century. Shmuel Eliyahu, chief rabbi of Safed. Joseph Karo, a rabbi, and author of the Great Codification of Jewish Law, the Shulchan Aruch. Isaac Luria, a foremost rabbi and Jewish mystic in the community of Safed in the Galilee region of Ottoman Palestine. He is considered the father of contemporary Kabbalah. Miriam Muadipa, TZFAT resident Israeli artist since 1999 of Dutch birth, owner of Muadipa Plus collection, Ben Sonof, popular Israeli vocalist. Moshe of Trani, rabbi of Safed from 1525 until 1535. Possibly the biblical woman with 7 sons whose tomb is often attributed to be that of an ancient tomb discovered in the old cemetery of the city. Twin towns are sister cities. Safed is twinned with Toledo, Castilla La Mancha, Spain, Lille, France, Nicopol, Bulgaria, 4, Palm Beach County, Florida, USA, ERZSA copyright Tvaroz, Budapest, Hungary. Gallery. References. Bibliography, Morris, Benny. The Birth of the Palestinian Refugee Problem Revisited. Cambridge University Press. ISBN 0-521-00967-7. Lestrange, Guy. Palestine under the Muslims, A Description of Syria and the Holy Land from AD 650 to 1500. Committee of the Palestine Exploration Fund. ISBN 0-404-56288-4. External links, Zafat.net, Experience TSFAT Resource Guide, Walking Around Safed, 8 Days Forecast in Safed, Israel Experience Program in TZFAT, Tourist Information Center, Guides, Listing of Safed Accommodations, Kabbalah Resources in Safed, English Map of Safed's Old City, Video interviews and contact listings, Yom Tov Art Gallery located in TZFAT Israel.